We're going to tell you 4 critical things that you need to keep in mind when it comes to growing your YouTube channel, and we're starting right now. What is going on? My name is Nick. Welcome to another video. If this is your first time here and you want to learn how to grow your channel, make videos, and all types of other YouTube related stuff, start now by subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. Okay, today I'm here with Sean Cannell from the YouTube channel ThinkMediaTV, YouTube channel Video Influencers, and the YouTube channel Sean Cannell. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Thank you. So on your YouTube channel, you have a combined total. You're approaching 1 million subscribers.
Yeah, pretty close.
Yeah. So there's a lot of work that goes into that. There's a lot of thought, a lot of strategy, a lot of things that you need to make sure that you're focusing on when you have that kind of success. What are some main points that you have for content creators that they need to really dial in and make sure that they're keeping an eye on?
That's a great question. I think point number 1 is actually embrace the process, and you need to practice, because a lot of times, like on Video Influencers, we'll share tips, you do as well, and every once in a while in the comments, someone will be like, I'm just so discouraged, I'm not getting the views, I'm not getting the traction, and so I don't just look at that at face value. I click through and I look at their channel, and then I look and I see their channel's been around for 2 years, they've posted 5 videos total, months and months apart, and they're like, why is this thing not growing? And so they're really not posting enough, but also they haven't practiced enough. I like to say your first videos are gonna be your worst videos.
Yeah.
And you gotta get through those. I like to encourage people, get your first 50 videos up, your first 100 videos up, and then you're just getting started. You're finding your voice, you're being awkward, you're even kind of figuring things out. And for me, I kind of had the advantage of, actually back in 2003, I was volunteering as an intern at my youth group, and the youth pastor handed me a video camera and said, hey, start making weekly video announcements. And Nick, those video announcements were terrible, right?
Sure.
But I made them every single week, so I made 52 videos that year. They would play every Wednesday night. And so YouTube wasn't even out yet, but I was like cutting my teeth. I was using Premiere. I was like learning how to use Adobe. I still use it today. Then eventually the lead pastor was like, make these on the weekends as well. And so now I'm doing 104 videos a year. And just as a volunteer, learning to like pump out a ton of content. And if it wasn't for all of those kind of videos, I wouldn't have gotten to the ones where now I'm feeling more confident on camera. I'm starting to figure out my voice. I'm starting to figure out best practices because I've practiced.
Nice, fantastic. So that grind, oh my gosh, I bet like just having that dumped on you was like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna make all this content, right?
Yeah, it was insane.
Right now, how much content are you putting out like over the course of a week?
I mean, over the course of a week, on a perfect week, it's 2 videos on Video Influencers, 2 videos on Think Media, and a live stream on each channel. Now, to be fair, sometimes we're not hitting those live streams,
sure,
but a baseline for us is 1 a week no matter what. I mean, it's like come hell or high water, that's happening, but definitely striving for that. And then the thing too is we're actually publishing quite a bit of content on other platforms, and there's kind of a trickle-down effect. That's a lot of content. But I would say too, my mindset and my mentality was being shaped over 15 years ago, and so I'm kind of like, yeah, this is just normal. You gotta pump out a lot of content.
Sure. So the first one that you have is practice. What is the next tip on the list for content creators to make sure that they keep in mind?
Absolutely, yeah. If you want to stand out on YouTube or anywhere, it's positioning. So number 2 is positioning. Where do you stand in the market? And there's a quote from Sally Hogstead that says this: different is better than better. And I think that's so important, because what YouTube doesn't need is another Nick Nimmin.
Right.
YouTube doesn't need another Casey Neistat.
The world doesn't need another Nick Nimmin. Right.
I don't know about that, but they don't need another Sean Cannell or Amy Landino or whoever. They need you. Yeah. They need you to be you to be you times 2. But on top of that, positioning is such a big deal. You have to figure out how you're different in the marketplace. In business, they call it a USP, your unique selling position. And so you say, how am I positioned? And a lot of times also, there's another P for you, you kind of want to be polarizing. Like if one person's going this direction, you want to be the different thing. You don't just want to be an echo, you want to actually be kind of a voice that actually has a unique stance and a unique position. Now, let's just make that practical though. Sometimes you're like, well, do I have to make up something totally obscure and totally weird? Even for us, when we started Video Influencers, we're in the same niche.
Yeah.
We do different styles, we do different things. And even at that time, nobody had really created a weekly interview show. Sure, Tim was posting interviews and we're doing an interview now, but like that's a pillar for us.
Oh yeah.
Is like, that's kind of what we built it around. So it's just like a small tweak. And sometimes I like to say small tweaks can lead to giant peaks.
Oh, I love it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
like
love
just
it.
a little bit of a different positioning. So how can you just be a little bit different? Because again, a lot of times you're not going to be better when you try to wear somebody else's shoes, you know, when you try to be somebody else. Now, even saying that though, I do encourage people to actually imitate other people, because it's kind of like mentorship. If you were going to go apprentice under somebody, they wouldn't just say, hey, yeah, just, you know, figure it out. You're a master now, do it at your own. They go, no, do it exactly like me. They go, watch me do it, I'll watch you do it, and now you do it on your own and develop your unique style. So to be fair, maybe you watch a Peter McKinnon video and you actually try to like do the same edits, to do the same shots. The process of doing that, someone could call you that you were copying. You're like, no, I'm just trying to like learn the ropes from someone that's a master at filmmaking. When you do that, you eventually find your own voice. But eventually, if you're gonna stand out, you have to have a unique position in the marketplace.
Yeah, fantastic. You know, like on my channel, that was one of the approaches that I took as well. You know, at the time, there wasn't, you know, a lot of people on YouTube, there wasn't in our space, you know, like people doing like the lights in the background, and, you know, I've got like hip hop in there, and you know what I mean? So like I took that, my approach was I'm gonna come at creators like creators, instead of coming at creators like this like coach person, you know, that way. So I'm gonna like try to be a little bit creative in the content that I make and things like that. And that was kind of the way that I tried to carve my way in as well.
And I love that, because even just little style things, like sometimes, and that's encouraging too, because half of your positioning is just the fact you're different already.
Yeah.
Like, you know, in this case, there's a lot of dudes in our space.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys.
Primarily.
Like, there's you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of room for just, if you're going to be a woman, or different nationalities, different, you know, ethnicities. Sometimes that's who, some people will resonate with you. They're not going to like Nick.
Right.
Some people, they don't like me. They're like, dude, what's wrong with the dude's hair? Like, why is it puffed up? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like somebody, like they're not going to resonate with everyone, but some people will resonate with you when you are you times two.
Yeah.
Like you got to amplify your own voice, your own style.
Fantastic, man. So tip number 3, what do you got?
All right, so tip number 3 is the principles, or another way to put it is the best practices. And that's simply to say it's what you teach. You know, if you haven't actually gone through Nick's whole library and binge watched the entire thing with the notebook out and actually said, you know what, I'm gonna go through the Nimmin University. You know, I'm gonna sit down on a weekend, because you gotta study the best practices. They've been established, you know, whether that's just thumbnails, titles, metadata, video structure, even just communicating on camera, or structuring how you would teach or entertain or whatever it is. You should treat YouTube just like anything else. You got to study and learn what are the best practices. Like in golf, which I'm horrible at, I haven't learned the best practices. You got to learn the form, right? You don't just go out there and make up how to hit a ball unless you're Happy Gilmore. But ultimately, you learn from a coach, and that's kind of what you're doing. You're just helping people learn the best ways to get views and how the algorithm works. And so you really want to become a student of what are the principles for success on YouTube. And eventually you can build on those and move even outside of those as well. But it starts with learning the best practices in any discipline and any industry.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the foundation.
Yeah.
It's the foundation. It's the place where you're building your house, right? So you have to learn those principles. And YouTube actually has a free resource, the YouTube Creator Academy, that is basically the instruction manual for how to use YouTube, and that will actually teach you all of the best practices as well. Fantastic. So number 4, what do you got?
And then number 4, Nick, is perseverance. You know, if we think about ultimately, you've been through this process, like this wasn't overnight for you, right? It's been years.
Yeah.
And a lot of times though, social media, it sends a lot of wrong messages to everybody, because there is always the exceptions that just blow up overnight, or there's those that appear to blow up overnight. But the reality is, I heard it put this way, that overnight success takes 10 years.
Yeah.
That a lot of times there's that moment where all of a sudden you discovered Nick and you're like, man, he's got, you know, over 100,000 subscribers, what have you, just showed up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like that guy must have just got lucky. That's not the case, right? There was a lot of perseverance. And at the end of the day, this, you know, you already know it could get discouraging. There's gonna be times when you're gonna wanna quit. There's gonna be times when you thought something was gonna work and it didn't. There's gonna be times when you wish you thought it was gonna go faster. You hit setbacks, you hit discouragement. You have to embrace the process. You got to persevere. And so I like to put it this way, that you really treat YouTube as a marathon and not a sprint. You know, if you were going to do a sprint, you wear these certain track shoes with the spikes on them, and you get into the blocks, and then you get up, and then they shoot the gun, and you give it all you can for 100 meters, and then you just like want to collapse at the end because you just put your body to the max. If you do that for a marathon, you're just gonna hit a wall and you're not even gonna get close to finishing. That's gonna be 26 miles of running. So it's a different approach. It's gonna be different shoes. It's gonna be a different mindset. You really wanna treat YouTube, I think, kind of like a small business. And so if I was to even put a time clock on that, they usually say most small businesses are not profitable for 24 to 36 months. And so especially watching a channel like yours, people can, I believe, cut their learning curve in half. They can get to the destination faster. So maybe it's not going to take 10 years, but it still might take 2 or 3 of really going at it. And so really just being out there and knowing, like, with that in mind, a marathon runner, you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna bring some water with them, or there's gonna be hydration stations on the way. They're gonna bring maybe those little gel packets or honey so you can take that to be nourished along the way. You have to know that you need to pace yourself on YouTube, because there's ups and downs, man. Sometimes, I mean, it could get intense. It can be emotionally, you know, you're just exhausted. You can face burnout, and that happens to a lot of creators. It doesn't get talked about a ton, but there is a need of perseverance and pacing yourself, because hey, it's so frantic and social. I get that way here. I get anxiety at VidCon. I'm like, I need to be doing everything and be everywhere, and we're doing so much, and we need to be doing more. Yeah, let's chill out. Let's breathe a little bit. You know, slow down and realize, okay, we can be patient and we want to persevere. Still, of course, speed matters in social media. But at the end of the day, like, what good is it if you just go as fast as you can and hit a wall and quit? You really want to pace yourself.
Fantastic, man. So with burnout, you know, with all of that content that you're putting out, all of that time that you've put in, you know, because you've been making content for a really long time. Have you had periods of time where you've experienced burnout to where you're like, you know, what am I doing? Like, you know, I don't know how much more of this I can do. Like, have you ever experienced that?
Yeah, I have. And, you know, at different times, there's been times where, you know, only in the last couple years I started full-time, like full on. And I guess full-time is subjective, because full-time is if you're freelancing and you're editing. I've done that. So I was full-time on my own, but full-time is just making revenue off of YouTube as like a solo creator, and that was my main source of income. It's only been since about October 2015, so about 3 years. Before that, like when you've got a side hustle and you've got a job and you've got these different things, you're trying to do YouTube, there was times where I remember we daily vlogged for 50 days. And man, I hit a wall hard, because I was doing that on top of some other things. Just 50 days. I know some people, like, they go longer than that, but it really can wear you down. And what's so funny is this. You know, there's a quote that says, "Tired eyes rarely see a bright future."
That's great. It's great.
And so when you start getting tired, you start making bad decisions, you start whatever, you know, you get more discouraged, all these types of things. So what's so funny is, what should you do if you're tired? You need to rest. And so I sometimes think as creators, we're too hard on ourselves, and I've seen this. We know we should post at least once a week. Or we should post at least 3 times a week. But sometimes when you hold yourself to a numerical number at the detriment of your mental health, your physical health, like, you're just on a bad path. It's okay. Like, the world is going to keep going if you take a week off. You know, like, the world is keep going if you even take a couple weeks off. And the longevity in this space, while staying healthy, is a lot more important, in my opinion, than just trying to, you know, hit that number no matter what and be so hardcore. And over the years early on, especially in the side hustle season, I think I burned the candle at both ends a little too hard. And I mean, if I get, the other thing that's kind of crazy is I actually have RSI. It's called repetitive stress injury. It's kind of like tennis elbow, where I just kind of get like pain and cramping in my arms from editing for so long, not taking breaks, for like well over 10 years, sometimes all night long. Come on, you know what it's like to just crushing Red Bulls or whatever it takes to just
gotta get these up. And
so like, I actually physically hurt my body a little bit, and things are going great, and I, you know, there's kind of a rehab to it, but it was so extreme. So I look back and I'm like, man, I'm only 34. And I plan on being in this thing for a lot longer. So if at the time I realized, man, I need to have a bigger vision, that like I need to pace myself and not burn out. I really want to encourage you, again, sprint as fast as you can, because it's a competitive industry. You're passionate about it. You love doing it, but don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt your health. You know, don't sacrifice your family, any of those things.
All right, fantastic. Sean, so you can check out Sean at ThinkMediaTV. You can check out Sean at Video Influencers and on his personal channel. I'll put links to everything down in the description below. Thank you so much for coming on. I
Nick,
appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Love what you're doing. I just want to acknowledge you. You know, I love the fact that you're devoting your life to adding value, you know, to helping people, and you're putting out such excellent content. You know, attention to detail matters. The little things matter, and you do them so well. Like, you could tell that you put not just, you know, best practices into your content, but also your heart into your content. You know, you really love your community. So I just really appreciate you, and glad to call you a friend.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And if you want to learn more about growing your channel, making videos, and all types of other YouTube-related stuff, start now by hitting the round subscribe icon so you don't miss anything. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.